Hello, welcome to About Regional, part of the Region Media Group. My name's Ian Campbell, reporting live from Tathra Beachside Caravan Park with Logie winner Frankie J Holden. Congratulations, Frankie. Come back down to earth yet?
Well, not really, Ian. It was only a week ago, but after the Logie's event, I pitched myself straight back into more work and activities down here where I live. And so at this present time, as I speak to you, I'm exhausted. But it's been an exhilarating ride over the last week or 10 days or so.
Exhausted, that's why we got him a seat. Give us a sense of the last, I guess, weeks and months for you. You have had a few balls in the air, both locally, professionally, and here at Tathra Beachside, your day job.
So there's the caravan park at Tathra Beachside, of course. It does take up some of my time. I've also directed production of Ladies in Black, a new Australian musical, music by Tim Finn, with the local amateur theatre group, the Spectrum Theatre Group. That was on over the last 3 weekends. It was a triumph, actually. We had packed houses and a very, very good or great production, if I do say so myself. There's a lot of talent down here in this region in particular. Then I've had the Logie night and Logie weekend sort of last weekend, and I'm also in the middle of doing some work on Home and Away. So I've been on the plane and off the plane and in hotels and back here, and so I've been running myself a bit ragged. I'm very lucky I haven't gotten ill, actually. But I think because I drink a lot, so I think that helps. Yeah.
Let's step through some of that. Let's go back to the Logies. What are the Logies like to be at? I imagine you've done a Logies ceremony before. What's the night like?
Yeah, I've been to many Logies and I've performed at the Logies as well. It's a great night. You know, there's some cynicism, sadly, from within the industry about it, but it is a great night, and it's a chance for everyone to reflect on how lucky we all are to work in the industry and do something that we love and make a living from it. So I never forget that. And it's just a chance to, I use it as an opportunity to catch up with people that I'm, maybe worked with 4 or 5 years ago and haven't seen or heard from since, or maybe 15 or 20 years ago and I haven't seen or heard from since. So it's a great night in that way as well. So I've seen nothing wrong with the Logies, except the only thing wrong with it is they want you to turn up at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they immediately put a glass of champagne in your hand. And then it just goes downhill from there. And so by the time then the actual ceremony the occasion starts at 7:30-ish. You're already well and truly on the way, and then you sit down and dinner. And guess what? There's more wine there. So by the time 10:30 or 11 o'clock comes around, in the old days, I could hack it, and people would start a party at 11:30 or midnight. Well, that's not happening with me anymore. But I think it's a great occasion. It's a wonderful. It's a wonderful night to celebrate Australian homegrown talent, and at the moment, particularly in Australian drama, the fields are very fertile, and we're doing some great drama and some great acting and writing and directing going on. So it's a pleasure to be involved. So I actually don't understand why people are so cynical about it.
You touch on that cynicism. What's your take on Tom Gleeson's role on the night and some of the points that he made? It's been a bit of a talking point.
Well, Tom did a great opening.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Tom's.
Yeah.
And he did a great opening routine, and then, by his own admission, fell into the trap which I've just described. You're sitting at a table, you feel like you did your opening, it was really good. I don't think he expected to win, and then he had a few reds, and so by the time he got up on stage to make his speech, he did blot his copybook.
Yeah.
But I think he came round in the end. Look, the points he was making were valid, that it is a popularity competition, and he went in it to win it, and that's what he should have said. He said, I went in to win it, and I won it, so thank you very much, everyone, and good night. But instead, I don't know, I think he was, tired and emotional, as they say, but I hope that doesn't, stain the rest of his career. I'm sure it won't.
Yeah. What does your Logie mean to you? Most outstanding supporting actor for your role in A Place to Call Home. You played a fella named Roy Briggs. What does that award mean to you?
Well, it's lovely to get an award like this. It's, as you said, it's the most outstanding category, so it's voted by your peers, other actors and directors. And I've won a few other awards, but it's my first Logie, and it carries tremendous cachet, as I've discovered. People just walking around the street, are thrilled to bits that I've won a Logie, and so in that way it's very prestigious. So it's humbling, and I also feel it was a vindication for the rest of the cast of A Place to Call Home, because I actually thought many of the performances in A Place to Call Home went unrecognised, partly because of the style of it. There was no shrieking lesbians in it, and they tend to pull off a few awards, the shrieking lesbians. So there was no over dramatic acting. It was melodramatic, and that's a difficult skill to pull off. So I was pleased for the rest of the cast that somebody got recognised for the work in A Place to Call Home, which has been a huge hit here and overseas.
You touched on it before, a resurgence in a way of Australian talent, and A Place to Call Home was a true Australian story. You seem to take a lot of pride in that. You talked about farmers in your acceptance speech, and I understand the character you used your uncles as a bit of inspiration. Those Australian characters ring true.
Yeah, my mum grew up in Bendemeer, which is near Tamworth in the New England Ranges, between Tamworth and Armidale, and I used to go and visit there all the time as a kid, obviously, to visit Nan and Pop, who were on a farm, sheep farm, and all Mum's brothers, my uncles, they were all sheep farmers, and my cousins, and they could all do things that I wished I could. They could ride horses. I mean, I could ride a horse, but not like them. And they could shear sheep, and they could shoot and skin rabbits, and they could slaughter a lamb and have it cooking that night for dinner. And, they were genuinely men. But without any of the downside of that's portrayed nowadays.
Yeah.
And so they were heroes to me. So to get the opportunity to portray this character, Roy Briggs, and bring those uncles back to life, and also to portray what it's like to be a man of the land was a great honour and a great thrill, and I hope I did it justice, particularly for, it's a very hard time to be a farmer at the moment for all sorts of reasons. But they just stick at it. They're very stoic like that. So I hope I, gave them some self-pride and self-respect in the way I portrayed that character.
You could live anywhere, given your long musical career, your long career in front of the camera. Why do you choose the Bega Valley?
Well, have a look at it, mate.
Dumb question, Ian.
We moved here 2004. We moved here, and I moved to this area because my wife Michelle, her family were here.
Yep.
And when I thought, I was living in Melbourne at that point in my life, and when I thought about doing the sea change, I actually thought I'd go to the North Coast, because I'd spent a lot of my youth surfing up and down the North Coast of New South Wales. But then when I started coming here, and I realised that this is what the North Coast used to be like. This is how I remembered the North Coast. The North Coast is not like this anymore. The North Coast is now virtually suburbia. Large parts of it are, large tracts of it are just too many people, too many cars, freeways, and the whole shebang. And here, south of Bateman's Bay, it's still really a lovely, bucolic, relaxed atmosphere. And I love the fact that, in the main street of Pambula or Merimbula, where I actually live, you'll see, a bloke with a sheepdog in the back of his van, and you'll see fellas with hay bales, you'll see surfers, you'll see hippies, you'll see grey nomads, you'll see a real cross-section of Australian life, genuine Australian life. So that's one of the reasons that I love it, and also just the natural beauty. It is. I've been fortunate enough to travel all over Australia and a lot of parts of the world, and it's still one of the best parts I've ever seen. From an all-round point of view, it's very difficult to see anything that goes past it.
What is it about this place that makes a career like yours work, or what are the challenges of a career like yours in a place like this? What do you need to do what you need to do?
Well, there's the airport at Merimbula. So that was one of the reasons why I thought this could work. It could be a viable option. It's got 3 flights a day to Sydney, 1 flight a day to Melbourne, and then from there I'm wherever I need to be. And if people aren't prepared to pay for the airfare, then I just won't go and do the work.
Yeah.
So it's just a commute to me, and I catch probably 100 flights a year. I've found Regional Express Rex to be very, very good, very reliable, and nice and comfortable planes. And so that's what's made it work.
Yeah.
But you have to make that decision. I made the decision that if I came here and didn't get any more work, well, that'll be that, and I'll work my way around that. Excuse me, but it hasn't been the case. In fact, I knock back more work than I do.
Yeah, right.
Because I just can't be bothered. A lot of it, if it's too hard, because I am conscious of not spending too much time away from home. But I've managed to strike a nice balance. I think.
What do you look for in a gig? No doubt the Logie might open a few doors for you now. What do you look for in a job?
Mate, sometimes it's a death knell. You win an award and then you don't work again for 8 years. I look, because I am in a position where I can sort of cherry pick what I do, and it's not about the money.
Yep.
Sometimes it's about the money,
Yeah.
but most of the time it's not about money. It's about if I find it something interesting, something that'll stimulate me, and if they make it relatively easy for me to keep coming back.
Yeah.
So, for example, I knocked back Muriel's Wedding, the musical, just this year, because I would have been away for a year and virtually not have got home, and that's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
So, Home and Away, a place to call home, they were very reasonable with me, and Home and Away, I think will be reasonable as well. And so that's the thing. If it's interesting, or unless it's rock and roll.
A sucker for it, eh?
Yeah. I'll go and do rock and roll gigs. I'm still doing gigs with Wilbur Wilde. We don't do many pub gigs or club gigs. Don't do a lot of public work in that sense, but a lot of big community festivals and corporate work and things like that.
Yep.
So I'll still go and do that, yeah. So.
In amongst all that, you volunteer as the director of Spectrum Theatre's production, Ladies in Black. What gets you involved with local amateur theatre?
Why did I do that? This stupid thing. Well, I directed. We're building a theatre in Merimbula.
Yeah.
And I've been heavily involved in that project. And with that coming online, towards the end of 2020, that'll be up and going. I decided that now we've got a great venue coming. It'll be a great opportunity for all the local talent to get showcased. So I was asked if I'd help out with Ladies in Black, and I was pleased to do it. It was an interesting project because there was a cast of 32, and I think 28 of them were women. And I'm getting emotional now. They took it out of me, mate. They took it out of me. They nearly won. Two of the women, of course, were my wife and daughter. So I'd cop it at rehearsals, and then I'd cop it on the drive on the way home as well. But no, it was a great experience and a great sense of community. And a great example of community working together. So all up, as I say, there would have been 50-odd people involved in the whole project, all working towards one common goal, and that is to put on the best show possible. And then the community itself responded so brilliantly. We sold out 8 shows. I can't think of another show you'd bring to town that would sell out 8 shows. Yep. So it was a great response from the community, and they all were very, very proud of their community putting on such a fabulous show. And it was, it was a pro standard show. It was a show you'd go to see or expect to see in Sydney or Melbourne or Canberra, for that matter. And we should all be very, very proud of it. And I hope it's just an example of what will be coming over the next years for local theatre and local culture as we go forward and got the new theatre up and going.
Just be terrific. You talk about ladies and you being under the thumb with some of these ladies. One of those ladies is Carmen Risby, one of the bosses here at Tathra Beachside.
She is the boss.
The boss.
Yeah.
She said, Frankie, make sure you plug the entertainment program at Tathra Beachside. What's coming up here?
Yes, we've always had entertainment as a strong part of what we offer here at Tathra Beachside. Is a very strong activity program, including live music, pizza nights, trivia nights.
Pancakes this morning.
Pancakes.
Too late.
Pancakes this morning. Because it's a strong part of our culture here is to get everybody together and then start having fun together. And then once they do that, sort of our job's done, and they have a fabulous holiday, and they keep coming back not only to our park, but they make a great contribution to the area.
Yeah.
So we're inaugurating a program of musical events called Sunday Sessions. They'll be here at Tathra Beachside in the beach barn, which is our camp kitchen, and there's a lovely playground there for kids. Most nights there'll be food available, like a local food truck will come. We might do pizza night, or we might do something else. So it's an opportunity for everyone to come, and whether or not you're staying in the park or not, everybody's welcome. So we're just inaugurating that now and getting the program together. So we'll be employing local musos.
Cool.
And sometimes I'll play with them and sometimes not.
Yep.
It'll be another great addition, I think, to the what's already a pretty jam-packed program here at Tathra Beachside. And there's quite a bit of stuff goes on in the whole valley, as we know. Yeah.
Keep an eye on the Tathra Beachside Facebook page to learn more. Thanks so much, Frankie J. Nice hanging out with you.
Good
Cheers.
on you. Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you. And thank you to you for tuning in to About Regional. We'll talk again soon. Ta-da.